And thank you, Kathleen, for that wonderful sharing of the Christmas story. And our spiritual arts singers, all those. We got talent here, don't we? Wonderful. We're just so blessed. And our musicians today. Thank you, Frank. So the Christmas story, beautiful, absolutely lovely, as we heard from a number of different sources already. Mystical and magical and very, very weird. Imagine an alien comes here and they said, "What is this wonderful festive holiday with these strange hats you're all wearing?" And you would tell them the story of Christmas and they would look at you and say, "What the hell are you talking about?" And picture the tableau that we have. We don't think anything of it. I mean, we grew up with this. We said, yeah, okay, that's the way it is. The stable, the angels hovering overhead, and we've got wise men with their gifts, and we've got a drummer boy banging away in the corner. We have donkeys and camels and sheep kneeling in front of this baby, glowing like a 40-watt bulb. What's wrong with him? I don't know. He's just happy. We've got Mary looking rather together, considering she's just traveled all that way on a donkey about to give birth. And I love her face. It's like, I'm just so tired. And old Joseph looking like, I don't know where I am. Kneeling on his staff going, oh, so tired. It's a very strange scene we're looking at. Do you know who's responsible for all this? St. Francis. St. Francis came up with the idea of a life-size creche. And he put it together in 1223 in a small town in Italy. And it was a big hit, a huge hit. People were like, this is so cool. So every year, even today, we've got from 2023 till today, we've got this very strange scene. What Francis did was he took the birth stories from Matthew and from Luke. There are no birth stories in the other two Gospels. So he took these two stories and he meshed them together. The greatest hits kind of a thing. A little medley of angels and donkeys and drummer boy. All these different little elements happening. You look at it and we don't think anything of it today, but when you look at it and go, this is really weird. This is really odd. What's going on here? The problem we have with this wonderful, beautiful scene that we look and we go, the story is just so lovely, is none of it happened. Nothing. None of that actually happened. There was no census that year. And even if there was, which there wasn't, you didn't have to travel to where you were from. Imagine doing a census here and you have to go back home. It would be utter chaos. Did not happen. There was no angels anywhere telling shepherds, go see this weird, strange little baby just got born. And they go, why? Because it's really cool. Oh, okay. Oh, it's glowing. How unusual. It didn't happen. Herod didn't kill a mass of baby boys. It just didn't happen. Mary did not get pregnant by God. Okay? Virgins don't give birth. News. No, they don't. There were no animals bowing in front of a baby, and no GPS star. So what is it all about? Why do we just get so emotional about this story? The Christmas story is a mythological tale. A mythology is a story that did not factually happen, but is true within. It's a true story, spiritually speaking, but not in fact happened. A great story, a powerful one, but it's an inner journey. And the people back then knew that. They read all the different versions. Even in Genesis, you have a number of different creation stories. They went, oh, cool. Oh, I like that one too. That's fun. They didn't think, well, this really happened. And I'm having a hard time with that. That's the 20th, 21st century mind Western mind that goes, well, I gotta bring it together. I can't bring it together. This is insane. Stop trying to make sense out of it with your brain, because it never will. It's an inner journey that we're taking. And they knew that back then when they wrote that. The author or authors, we're not quite sure how many people were involved with all the Gospels, but the Matthew Gospel was written for the Jewish community to tell them, this is the Messiah you've been waiting for. And for the most part, their response was, well, thank you for sharing, but we don't think so. That's a nice story too, but that's not for us. We're good. We're good as we are. Luke created his gospel to tell the Gentile world, here's something you need to know. And his Jesus, if you read all four gospels, they're very different Jesuses you're going to read about. Luke's Jesus is a healer, and the ones that the Greeks really resonated with. Now, the letters of Paul's are the earliest writings of the New Testament. He never once mentions a virgin birth or the actual birth of Jesus. The only thing he said is he was born of a woman. Oh, that big. Okay. He said, but he's saying he's just like you. Born of a woman. There's no virgin, and if anybody would have mentioned it, would have been Paul. Paul was gaga over Jesus, just absolutely adored the guy. So if there was a virgin birth, he would have mentioned something right in the beginning. So there's no birth story in Mark, Paul, John, George, or Ringo. Nothing. Two stories they can't even agree about what happened. The Christmas stories are parables. They're lovely stories that tell about an inner journey that we all take to the birth of our own God self in consciousness. It's an inner. They're all filled with symbolic, wonderful little images that we go, oh, what does that really mean? And the one that I had Kathleen share from Matthew is chock full of metaphysical goodies. It's like a little Christmas stocking filled with metaphysical good. Every time I read the story, something new jumps out. Every year I go, oh, I didn't see that one before. And this year for me, it was a star. A star is, according to the dictionary, a big exploding ball of gas. Which explains a lot about Hollywood, too. Hollywood stars just think, big exploding ball. So essentially, that's what all these stars are. They're just gas. Just going all over the place. Sound effects, we need them once in a while. Our sun is a star that is from here 93 million miles away. Now the nearest star after our sun is called Proxima Centauri, which is over 4 light years away. Here's an analogy to tell you how far this star is. If the two suns were the size of grapefruits, to get there you would have to travel from the grapefruit in New York to the grapefruit in LA. It's a long distance to the next star. And that's our nearest one. So the idea of a traveling star, the wife would go, oh look, the star is showing us where to go. It doesn't make sense whatsoever, even in the context of the story. A star in Bible New Thought metaphysics symbolizes the guidance of the universe to your own God self. It's your own light within that is telling you what to do, where to go, how to do it. Your inner light is always revealing the truth of who and what you are. You're divine, you're perfect, you're wonderful just as you are. We're always being led to the awareness of our true nature as divinely perfect. Whenever we seem to be going far away, we feel pain. If we're going away from our healing, we feel pain. If we go away from our abundance, we feel pain. If we go away from the love that we have for each other, we feel pain. Because we're going away from who we are. As children, we knew the truth of who we were. Think back to when you were 3, 4, 5 years old. You know the truth. We arrive here knowing this. You've heard that wonderful story about the 3-year-old looking at his sister in the crib and saying, remind me of God, I'm beginning to forget. We do. We forget very easily. The world keeps trying to tell us, and does tell us very successfully, that we're merely human. And that by the time we're 5, 6, 7, we have forgotten our divine roots. Or if we were in a family that was very religious, we were called perhaps sinful. Here at Spiritual Arts Center, we don't believe in the concept of sin. We use an acronym, self-inflicted nonsense, to describe what sin really means. It's nothing. It's from an old archery term, S-Y-N-E, that means to miss the mark. That's all. We just missed the mark on this one. Fine, I'll try again. And again and again and again, until I hit it. And we certainly were not born with what Orthodox Christianity calls original sin. There is no original sin. We've done them all. There's nothing original in any sin anywhere. It's what Matthew Fox calls original blessing. We're all born into original blessing, and it's our job to consciously awaken to that realization. Now, since God is absolute good, which is our number one core belief here at Spiritual Arts Center, God cannot create anything less than good. Good can only create itself. Only over and over and over again create good, perfect, complete, pureness through you. God's complete, pure, good creation. Just because Eve ate fruit out of season doesn't mean that you were born sinful. That isn't even a concept in Jewish thought, and they were the ones who created the story. But the church fathers took this idea that Eve was born sinful, tempted Adam to become sinful as well, and so the whole thing is Eve's fault. The whole thing, therefore, is every woman in here's fault. You. It's your fault your men are the way they are. Thank you, early church fathers, for that completely insane thought. But no, they were freaked out by the divine feminine energy. They didn't know how to deal with it, so they kept saying, it's your fault, we have to keep you down. To the point that even midwives were executed if they tried to relieve the pain of a woman giving birth. They said, it's God's will that you should be in pain thanks to Eve, you daughter of Eve, therefore you should suffer, and if you're not suffering, we're going to kill you. Totally insane. Now, spiritually, Christmas is a time of allowing the full power, faith, love, and joy of God to take hold within you, to consciously say, this is happening. That I accept the fullness of who and what I am as a divine being. It's a time to celebrate the birth of your new awareness that nothing is stronger than a divine awakened being, which is what you are. And coming to realize, I am divine, I am holy, I'm very sacred. I'm not merely human. I'm a spiritual being having what? A human experience. You're on the journey to remember the truth of who you are. No matter what you're facing today, God is here. Herod in the story is your ego. Your ego wants to eliminate the good. Any new idea that comes, the baby boys in New Thought Metaphysics are your new ideas for good. So your ego is always trying to kill off these new, that's not going to work. Or somebody will come along and tell you how that is not going to work. They're being Herod in your own life. Oh, that'll never work in New York? Who do you think you are? You know how many people have tried that? Forget about it. Or very few heal from that condition, you know. I don't know. You should probably give up and just, do what the doctor says and get ready to die. Or, I've never known anybody to stay clean from that addiction for very long. Good luck with that. Or, there are no real eligible single people in Manhattan who aren't totally crazy. Try Alaska. I hear there are a lot of them in Alaska. Yeah, but they're in Alaska. People love to kill off our baby ideas, don't they? Jesus said, don't cast your pearls before swine. Don't take what is holy and in infant form right now, like a new idea for your career or for your health or for your abundance. Don't tell anybody about it. If you have a prayer partner, or somebody here who's going to hold that in light, don't tell your parents who you know are going to say, oh, what do you think you're doing? That's not going to work. You tried that before, didn't you? Not that I'm calling your parents pigs or anything, but that don't give them any information until it's really set in consciousness. But in the quiet of our hearts, which is what the manger is, love and wisdom, represented by Mary and Joseph, are giving birth. Love and wisdom are giving birth to your new ideas, to your new self, over and over again. So then we quietly reveal and we quietly affirm, I am being divinely guided by the light of God within me. I know what to do and how to do it. I'm being led perfectly today to know what to do. I'm filled with joy and gratitude with the understanding that I'm meant to have a great life while I'm here on the planet. A creative life, a prosperous life, a love-filled life, a fun life, an exciting life. An adventurous and joyful life is what you're here to have. If you're not, why not? What are you holding back? What idea are you holding in your mind? What is Herod telling you you can't have? This is the fourth Sunday of Advent, as we shared. The theme is joy. If our lives aren't joyful and filled with creativity, we're the ones who have to take the responsibility to change that. There may have been situations or circumstances that we found ourselves in, but every moment of every day I can choose differently. I take a different thought, I use different words, I take different actions, and I see that my life is different when I do that. Only by cheerfully creating, joyfully creating what we desire will life become interesting and fun and the life that you've been looking for. We change it by following that star within, the light of God within, that knows who you are and knows what you have to do for your life to work. If we would just shut up long enough. We keep affirming all this negative stuff over and over and over again. We can't even feel the light, let alone hear what Spirit is telling us. Well, if you do this differently, your life will be different.
Amen.
Amen. I read the other day that Betty Buckley, the wonderful actor and singer, saw a production of Pajama Game when she was 11 years old in her native Texas. She said, there was this consciousness rising to the top of my head and said, this is what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. She said it shocked her. She said, I just heard this. I heard this inside of myself. 2 years later, she was looking out the window at the Texas plain from her bedroom, and she said, I got this real interesting, clear awareness that I was going to be a leading lady on Broadway. It was just there. It was just all unfolding. She said she heard the voice very clearly telling her what great storytelling skills that she had and was going to be bringing to Broadway. Her soul arrived here with this knowledge. Even in Texas, even more of a miracle. In the middle of the plains, looking out, she knew who she was. While in college, she sang at the Miss America pageant, and her agent happened to be there, just happened to be there, divine coincidence, and signed her to ICM. She moved to New York, she checked into the Barbizon Hotel, and her agent called her 5 minutes later and said, you have an audition in 15 minutes. Okay. She was the last girl seen on the last day of auditions. Betty was there for 2 hours and sang the character song from the show in many different keys. And then they said, we're hiring you to play Martha Jefferson in 1776. She wasn't in town for an hour. 2 hours. 3, all of a sudden, she's starring on Broadway, one of the 2 female characters in the play. A little while later, after she auditioned for Cats, they didn't think she was quite right. In London, Elaine Page. Little waif like Elaine Page had played Grisabella. Betty Buckley. Strong. Trevor Nunn looked at her and said, you're too healthy for Grisabella. She said to him, Trevor, look. You've auditioned the entire American talent pool. There are a few women who can do the role as well as I can, but nobody can do it better. I'm a really good actress. It's my turn. Give me the part. Okay. Too good. There's an affirmation. It's my turn. Give me this part. Listen, Let's all try that together. It's my turn.
Give me the hearts.
And she won the Tony Award for it. She won the Tony for it. Betty Buckley had a clear picture of her life. That was quite a blessing, to have that clear of a picture. But this is what she was here to do. And no one was going to stop her. Your path to your success may not seem to be as clear as Betty's was, but it doesn't mean that it's any less powerful or any less inevitable than hers was. We sometimes are overwhelmed with the other Herod thoughts that are in the way. Or we're in the city, or we have a really loud family that it's really hard to hear sometimes. The still small voice. When you're in a Texas plain, there's nothing else happening there. So it's kind of easy. Oh, I'm hearing this all of a sudden in the quiet. But with all the noise and all the things going on in life, sometimes it's really hard to hear this. That's why it's even doubly important. If you live here in the city, you've got to take time to get quiet. You've got to go apart, go to the park, put on headphones, put in earplugs, and listen. Listen to what your soul is telling you. This I've had waiting for you for such a long time. Listen to me, and here's how you do it. Here's how you do it. It's very simple with God within. Not simple when I'm trying to figure it out with my head. So many people have shared with me that life seems very unsettling. Lately, I've been hearing that a lot. Very unsettling because I just don't know what to do for the chronic pain that I'm going through. I've had this pain for years and years. What do I do about it? I don't hear God within me telling me what to do. Or not being able to find the work they love, perhaps on Broadway. You've been trying to do this for years and it hasn't really worked in the way you wanted to yet. Or the ongoing loneliness 24/7 that never seems to end, especially in New York. The more people around, the more lonely you are. Anybody relate to that? No, one person, thank you. Talking to myself up there. We've all felt it. We've all felt that. Or the never-ending lack of money. End of the month comes, there's not enough money. There's too much month at the end of my money. The constant depression or anxiety. You feel great, and here you go outside, oh my God, I'm in New York again. What am I going to do? And then the anxiety comes up. And the peace that we had here is gone out the window, out the door. For the addictions that seem to overwhelm the sense of safety, even after years or decades of sobriety, you always feel like you're walking at the edge of a cliff and could go over with a nice breeze. Life is tricky in that way sometimes. But Betty Buckley had it right. You've got to claim you're good and that you're a powerful being of God and nobody can take it away. This is my part, you're going to give it to me. Ben Vereen auditioned for an old white man. And Bob Fosse said, well, you're not right. And he says, yes, I am. He says, okay. And he hired him for the lead player of Pippin. It was written as an older white male. And Ben said, no, that's wrong. It's written for Ben Vereen. How clear are you about that? A woman drove by a house one day. She was looking for a house. She said, oh my God, this is my house. It was for sale. She walked in. She said to the realtor, this is my house. She said, well, it's not on the market yet. She said, this is my house. You're giving it to me. He said, all right. And his coworker said, what was that about? She said, she told me it was her house. I had no choice. Here's the keys. If you're real clear about something, you get it from spirit, not from your head, but from your heart. Nobody can keep it from you. Your health, your abundance, your right and perfect career, your right and perfect house. It's all yours. You're a child of God. You get to claim it. The star within, the light within is guiding you to what and who that is. We have to declare it and get really affirm that your time is now. And that the universe is giving you exactly what you desire. And you better get ready for it, because if you're affirming it, it's going to come. Are you ready for that? Emma Curtis Hopkins, the grandmother of all the New Thought movement, in 1898 wrote, there is good for me and I ought to have it. She said, this is the foundation statement of your being. This is the foundation of who and what you are. There is good for me, and I ought to have it. Affirm that with me. There is good for me, and I ought to have it. When you put that vibration into the ethers, as they used to be called, you put the vibration of the universe has to respond because you're a child of God. It has no choice but to give you back what you've been saying, and the universe has been giving us back what we're saying a lot. I never have enough money left. The universe goes, that's a really weird affirmation, but go for it. Your wish is my command. See, I told you, it isn't that it's truth. We make it true by affirming it as true, because you're a child of God and what you say goes. I have to be bold, and I have to get clear about what my life is, what my star role is in my own life. And when you're clear, everything falls into place. This place happened really quickly. Gary reminded me, he says, go independent. I can't do that. Why? I don't know. I got to think about that. Okay. And then all of a sudden, bang, here we are. Manifestation happens when you're clear. Oh, okay, I can change my mind about that. You could be on Broadway. Now I'm too old. Shut up. No, you're not. Not for the right role. And if you desire it, the role is coming forth. That role is mine. It's not written for you. It is now. Thank you, God. It's showing up. Your passion, your enthusiasm, your faith, your excitement, your gratitude, and your joy is what brings you your healing. Is what brings you your abundance, your success, your new mate, your new friends, your freedom from addiction, the success you've always been looking for. If you're looking for a mate, be the mate you want to have. You've got to be what you're looking for. If you want a big muscle man, you've got to go to the gym yourself. Do you hear me? Apparently not. I'm talking to myself again. If you want somebody with a great sense of humor, do you have a great sense of humor? It's an unfolding process as life is. Yes, absolutely. Do you know your physical body and the stars are only one molecule different? Therefore, you literally are a star. The one molecule extra is that God-conscious molecule. It's the awareness that you are this wonderful creation of spirit. You literally are a star already, so begin to act like it. What you want to see in your life, you've got to act like it. And then it shows up. We're made of star stuff, and even Betty Buckley had to move to New York to kick it into gear, though. What are you being led to say? Here's how you kickstart your star. You are a star of God, and you always have been, and you always will be. Are you going to start acting like it now? So I want you to close your eyes, breathe into your heart.